Hey, I'm Caressa.
Hey, I'm Maddie.
You're not watching the Disney Channel right now.
You're listening to
Dreadfully Twisted. We are back.
We are back
Back
again.
again.
Guess who's back? Tell your friends. Yay!
I feel like it's been forever.
I know, we
It's
missed you.
been so long. And I forgot how to do the intro. I was like, my brain just is not working. Yeah, so we're back this week.
We are back.
After not seeing you for a week and a half, I feel like it's been.
I was on vacation. We are back.
Yep, unfortunately. No more vacation.
No more vacation. But I'm back. I'm happy to be back with the kitties and my turtle, so.
Yeah, but we're back.
We are back.
You tell because we're a little unhinged.
Yes. Time to rehinge. Maybe.
Hopefully. But before we even get into the episode, we have some creepy things to share with you.
Yes, we do.
Do you want to go first? Because mine's going to be kind of long.
Sure. Okay, so while I was on vacation...
I'm so excited to hear this again. Hear this in person.
So me and my dad were walking down from our hotel room. We were on the 4th floor. And we were going down to the lobby. And we went... we were going down to the lobby. And before the doors opened, there was a kid that was holding this cup. I can't remember. It was a very he was just he was wearing a long shirt and he had this really bright colored cup. So he was obviously you would remember if you seen him again.
Yeah.
So he came over and he sat down on the bench that was right outside the elevators. So me and my dad get on the elevator and we go down to the lobby, and literally as we're walking out of the elevator, here comes the same kid running down the hallway, right across, right next to us, and we're like, what? Because he
was he still holding a cup?
Yeah, it was the same exact kid. He was holding the cup with the long shirt, literally running right past us. We were like, was that just a glitch in the Matrix or something? Because that was terrifying. Because how did he get down there? If he would have took the steps, he wouldn't have got down there that fast, first of all. He sat down on that bench, waiting for somebody.
There wasn't another set of elevators or anything?
Nope.
Yeah, so even if there was, he would have made it there at the same time.
And the elevator didn't even stop anywhere on the way down. We went straight down. Yeah. So he would have there was no way that he would have been down there that fast. I don't even know. It was creepy.
That's so freaky. But my thought was maybe it was a ghost kid or something. But it could be both, a glitch in the matrix. I don't know. That's freaky, though.
It is. We were like, that just happened. Okay, so tell your creepiness. I'm excited.
My house is definitely freaking haunted. I could tell you that right now. And it's freaking me out a little bit because... So, this video is... So, let me back up a minute. Jeremy's friend, Aaron, was over last weekend. He stayed Friday to Sunday. Friday night, nothing happened. Saturday night, we were outside. We were having a fire and stuff. And then it was we went inside after a while because the fire died down and stuff. So we went back inside and we were drinking a little bit, but I wasn't drunk or anything. I was a little bit tipsy because I had 2 glasses of wine at this point. And Jeremy wasn't really feeling good. So he went upstairs and he laid down and I was okay. And I was talking to Aaron for a little bit and I was okay, well, I'm going to go to bed now. Because Jeremy's upstairs and he's tired. So I'm going to go, because we normally go to bed at the same time just because that's just how our relationship is. But so I go upstairs and I'm oh wait, I got to get a shower. So then I went back downstairs because I forgot toothpaste to brush my teeth because we bought some that day. I went downstairs and literally right before I went downstairs, I didn't hear Aaron say this, but he said, what was that? And I came down the stairs, I grabbed the toothpaste. He came running into the kitchen. He was did you hear that? And then he looked at the dog crate and he was that box was on the crate, but it's not there now. And I was what are you talking about? And then I was okay, well, let me just check my camera. Maybe it caught it because it does. So in this video that I have, watch it. You're going to want to look on the dog crate. It happens towards the end of the video. Did you see the box move? And how it moves, it looked like somebody pushed it from the backside.
Exactly. It looked like somebody smacked it off or something.
Later, look at the crate, look at the gate there. Do you see that thing floating?
Yeah.
That orb happened after the box fell.
Oh my god.
And I didn't notice, but earlier when we were outside, Loki and Tyr were in the house because they were barking and it was getting late. We didn't want them to be barking. The box fell before that without them even touching it. But we didn't know this at the time, and I didn't tell Aaron this yet.
Yeah.
But it fell like towards the end of the video. And Loki's tail barely touches it. I know it happens like later in the video. Yeah. Did it fall? Yeah.
Yeah, it did. It just fell.
So
it didn't like even touch it barely.
He barely touched it. Like it like maybe like this. And
it wouldn't have knocked it over.
It would have knocked it over because it was sitting like that box was sitting like that since the night before.
Yeah.
Why did it fall all of a sudden?
Yeah,
then?
it was totally pushed from.
But the second video, or the first video I showed you, was the one like in the video at the end. You can hear Aaron say, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And I came down the stairs. Then, don't know why, him and I just started talking about it because talking about ghost paranormal stuff. Yeah. And I told him about some of the stuff that happened in the house. Then he decides, you know what? I'm gonna bring out a spirit box. Why?
Oh my god.
So then he starts talking to like the ghosts or whatever. We heard a male and a female voice. But like we were trying to ask them questions, like he was trying to say like did you knock the box down? And they kept just playing music, so we were like, okay. And he was like, is this music that you like to listen to? And then they just kept playing the music, and then he was like, can we please talk to you? And they were like, not right now. And he was like, okay, sorry, we'll leave you alone. Then we were like, we'll let you go, we'll go to bed and stuff. And then there was a female voice that said, thank you, just like that. And then me and him just looked at each other. And like the things that they did say, we couldn't understand what was going on. But we just looked at each other. And I was just like, were they saying thank you because we were leaving them alone? Or were they saying thank you because we did try to talk to them? But like I was like, I don't know. Yeah. Then he decides to go upstairs and put the voice freaking thing, the spirit box thing on while I'm by myself.
Oh my god.
And I'm just sitting in the kitchen, and then he just goes up the stairs, and then he just leaves it go, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then it was going crazy because like I was by myself, and then like he said the whole time because he was talking, he even said like, if you're here, you can touch me, and I was like, don't touch me because I live here, like do not touch me because if you touch me, I'm moving out of this house and never coming back, type of thing. But he was like, yeah, you can touch me, and then he was like saying that he felt cold on his left side whenever he went upstairs and he left the voice box down. Like I was standing like in my kitchen, like the corner of my kitchen by like the stove and against like the cabinets there, so like I could see the whole kitchen. And the sink was next to me. Whenever he left and went up the stairs, the coldness that was around him moved to by me. So if I did this with my arm and I extended out, I just felt cold. Wow. Like so cold, like it wasn't the rest of the temperature of the house cold. And then I was just like, okay, well, I'm freaked out now. But I'm just like, things keep happening. And then before that, on June 11th, because that was June 16th. Oh, and the last time I caught something on my camera, it was May 16th, exactly a month before that got caught. And it was around like the same time. Yeah. But on June 11th, here, it starts like in the very beginning of the video. So a lot of orbs start happening again. You see that one?
Oh, there's another one.
I don't know how long the video is, but there's like a few. I think it was maybe just in the beginning part. Yeah. There is orbs, just like the other videos that I've shown you. Then last night, we went to bed like really late. I went to bed, like we went upstairs around like 2:15 in the morning because we've been staying up late. We probably shouldn't be doing that. But we've been staying up late. And last night I was laying in the bed and I was like, oh, the camera just went off. And Jeremy was brushing his teeth and stuff. So then I was looking and another orb happened. Is in the video. Oh. Right there. Just one singular one at 2:25. No, at 2:23 in the morning. So I'm like, a week ago, around the same like 2-hour interval, we caught the box and then that orb. Last night, a week after that, around the same time, the first one was at 1:30, this one was at 2:30. Still within an hour, caught another orb. And I'm like, what is the significance of Saturday? Yeah. Like, it's so weird. But I'm like, my house is definitely haunted because like I was looking up, like I was trying to look up history of my house,
Yeah.
but I couldn't really get too far because it only like I said, it only goes back to like 1993 of who owned the house. My house was built in 1910, so like it doesn't show from 1910 to 1993. But I'm just like, I want to know why my house is haunted.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of freaky, but at the same time, like, I want more stuff to happen. Because, like, I don't know, like, the box was, like, the one that was, like, whoa. Like, it literally went, like, somebody went like this.
Yeah. Yeah,
And, like,
exactly.
it
It
just-
looks like someone smacked it off. Like, it actually looks like it, like.
And then everybody was joking. Like, my sisters were like, well, I guess the ghost doesn't like you drinking Mike's Hard Lemonade. And I was like, maybe not. And then Jeremy said the same thing. And I'm like, or maybe they like to drink and they're jealous that they can't. But I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Like, and the fact that in that video of the box, literally the dogs were upstairs, so they couldn't have knocked it off. They were stuck in our bedroom. The cats were upstairs eating, so they weren't around. They couldn't have knocked it down. And plus, like, behind that box, there was other stuff. So, like, even if one of the cats did go there, it was, like, kind of lodged within the stuff on the crate.
Yeah.
So, like, it literally looked like somebody just smacked it.
Exactly. It totally did.
So, yeah, my house is haunted, so wish me luck.
Yeah. We need answers.
I do, like, and I kind of, like, I don't know, because Jeremy's friend Aaron's coming back on Wednesday, and I'm going to show him the other box video and the other orb video. I don't know if he's going to want to try to do the spirit box again. I don't know. I'm kind of afraid to do that because I don't want to make whatever is there mad.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
That's not. Definitely just ask them. Like, don't, like.
No,
do it. Like,
we weren't, like, trying to be, like, rude or
Yeah.
anything. We were being nice, and we were just trying to, like, I swear, and this is just me being crazy and me being a little bit tipsy at the time. I thought the male voice at first sounded like my dad.
Aw.
And I'm like, it's Jeremy's mom. I don't know if I told you this. When she first walked into our house, and it was before my dad passed away. When she first walked into my house, she looked at Jeremy and said, "Your house is haunted. A little old lady lives here." Because she's very sensitive to that stuff.
Yeah.
And Jeremy just laughed at her because he doesn't believe in that stuff. And he was just like, okay, whatever. But she told me about it. And she was like, yeah, she's like, you have a little old lady that lives in the house. My thought is, why didn't she feel the male presence?
Yeah.
Because whenever we did the voice box, there was a male and a female. And the male was the dominant. And we were downstairs. And she said, if the old lady mainly stays upstairs, that makes sense why she wasn't so present because she's upstairs. If we did it upstairs, maybe it would have been a different story. And maybe we will try to do that whenever he comes back. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Because, like, I mentioned to him, I was like, I wanted to try to see it, like, to do, like, a EMP thing. And I was like, I don't want to do it by myself. And, like, I mentioned doing it with you, maybe. And he was like, well, are you okay with me just doing a spirit box right now? And I was like, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to, I guess. But, like, so, yeah. So, my thought is, and I don't know if this is just me being crazy, but, like, why didn't Jerry's mom feel the male presence then?
Yeah.
And then I have a lot of my dad's stuff. And he could have been attached to it. Or maybe he's just attached to us in general.
Yeah.
I don't know, though. It could just be me being crazy. But, like, I kind of want Jeremy's mom to come back to, like, see if she feels anything different now. But, like, I don't know. It was just crazy. So, yeah. I don't know. My house is haunted and I'm scared. And, like, ever since, like, last Saturday, every night that I'm going to get a shower, I've been bringing Ratchet into the bathroom with me so I'm not alone, so I'm not scared. Because whenever we were talking on that spirit box, we felt like people were watching us. Like, you never get that feeling that somebody's just watching you.
Yeah.
That's how Aaron felt and I felt, but it wasn't, like, malicious or anything. Like, we did not feel any, like, ill will or any like malicious intent. We just felt like somebody was just there just watching you.
Yeah.
And, like, that's still creepy though because
yeah.
like, but I get that feeling all the time whenever I'm upstairs. Whenever I'm editing the podcast or whenever I'm, like, doing my crafting stuff, like, on my desk, it's against the wall and the whole like room behind me is, like, to my back. But every single time I'm in there, if the dogs are in there or whatever, I feel like somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
And then I don't like that feeling. And I get that feeling sometimes in the bathroom. So I don't like to be in the bathroom by myself now because of knowing, like, that my house is definitely haunted, because why would that have happened?
Yeah.
And why have I been getting so many orb videos? So I brought Ratchet into the bathroom with me. Well, he didn't really, like, he just kind of walked in with me, so I just shut the door because he just sits on the toilet most of the time. But last night he was downstairs and he wasn't coming up the stairs, but Snickers followed me up the stairs.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm bringing you in the bathroom with me. So I picked her up and put her in the bathroom with me. And then like towards the end of my shower, she started meowing. And I was like, okay, I'm getting out. I'm sorry. Like, I was like scared though. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be scared because Jeremy's mom was like, if you get scared, it could become like mean or become like evil. So she's like, just try to be open with it and just try to be like okay with it. So I'm like, okay, so every time I get scared, like, you're not scared, stop, you're overreacting. And I just like try to calm myself down, but I'm just like, my house is so haunted. I
would just start thinking like it's your dad.
Yeah, I mean that, but at the same time when I'm in the shower, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's true. He's like, come on, I gotta get in the bathroom, get out.
Well, that's funny. But yeah, so like I don't know, it's just weird. And then my friend Crystal, she was like, you should set up like a camera in the living room. And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to set, like, I do want to set up cameras though, but at the same time I'm like, I don't really need to. But like, why is everything always in the kitchen?
Yeah,
it's just weird. The whole thing is just like so many mystery behind it, and I just want to know why. Yeah. Like, I just want to know answers.
We need answers. I watch too much Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, like Zach Bagans, come to my house, see if it's haunted. Like, it's just, and I've been like telling all my coworkers about it. And my one coworker, she was like, "You're freaking me out." I'm like, "I'm sorry." I was like, I can't help it. Like, it's exciting to me because like I want more to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I want more of, like, the box kind of thing. Like, I don't want more orbs because, like, that happens. Like, I'm just kind of used to that by now. I'm like, okay, I see orbs. But, like, I want, like, them to move stuff. I want them to, like, you know, like, and it's just, like, weird that I want that to happen. But, like, I do. Like, I don't know. My house is haunted. So, yeah. So, I guess now that we've been talking for 20 minutes, this episode's probably going to be really long. I'm sorry. Talking about paranormal stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about Randonautica. Because I don't know if I want to tell you that what this case is, because you probably heard of it. I like 100% believe you have heard of it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, can you just guess from Randonautica?
Yeah. Is it the...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Because I don't even know why. Like, my TikToks have been coming up a lot with like Randonautica stuff.
Mine too.
Just like out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And then I found out, like, I knew about this case, but I didn't know like all the details of it until I started like looking into it. Because I was like, I don't know what I want to do. So I was like, I'll just do this one. While I was doing, I was like, I hope Maddie doesn't want to do this one. And I felt bad. And I was like, I don't want to take something that she's doing, but like, I'm really interested in this. Yeah. So I'm sorry if if it was on your list of things.
No, that's okay.
But I do want to put a trigger warning at the very beginning of this episode because there is sexual assault and animal abuse. So, but that's not going to happen till later, and I'll say another trigger warning about it. But that's just a trigger warning right now. And also, I will share those videos of my house on TikTok. So if you want to see those videos, go there. Okay, so we're gonna start about talking about. I just stuttered.
Talking is hard.
Talking is very hard.
Trying to rehinge. Okay.
I haven't done this in like over a week and a half, so just bear with me. And I'm like worked up about my house. So okay, so we're gonna start by talking about the Randonautica app because there's a lot to it, and I'm gonna explain what it is just for you to understand what it is. And I think you've used it before, haven't you?
My friends used it.
Okay.
But we never did it.
Oh, okay. This app launched February 22nd of 2020, and it randomly generates coordinates that users use to explore local areas and report on their findings. The app is and this is a quote, an attractor of strange things, letting the user choose specific coordinates based on a certain theme. The app has had as many as 10.8 million users as of July of 2020. That's a lot of people.
That is a lot of people.
So the app basically sends the users on random adventures. The app generates geographical, whatever, coordinates to random locations. So it generates random coordinates based on geographical coordinates to random locations in each user's area and uses technology with quantum physics. which I thought was really interesting. Like, how does quantum physics work with
Yeah.
coordinates? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. You have to set up on an intention of where you go, then it will pop up coordinates. The coordinates are actually generated with a random number generator, which also is like, is it really random?
Yeah.
So how it works is the app will ask you if you want to find an anomaly, attractor, void, or pseudo. Anomaly is an intention-driven anomaly, is just a name given to describe both voids and attractors. Attention-driven anomalies are areas of patterns found in quantum random number data. This means that these are the areas hypothesized to have been influenced by human thought. You are choosing a stronger point between the attractor and the void. Attractor is an area where quantum points are highly concentrated and most dense. A void is a point in an area where quantum points are sparse. Void points are the opposite of attractor points, which is where quantum points are most dense. The more sparse the void, the stronger the power is and higher significance it has towards your intention. Pseudo, this point is created through a random number generator. And honestly, I wrote that down because I thought people would need the descriptions, but I have no idea what it means.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of like words. I'm like, okay, my brain can't comprehend that right now. So I'm sorry. After the random number generator, you will set your intention. This can be anything on your mind, whether a sign, a want, a message, or a need. It does track your location as well, so that's how it can like bring up coordinates that are local to you. So an example of like a sign, a want, a message, or a need is like what you want to find on like the trip, whether it's happiness, love, spooky stuff, etc., or colors or whatever you want to like put in there. You can literally put like stairs or whatever, like anything random, and then it'll pop up. But during COVID of 2020, Randonautica became so popular. The app was created by John Langfelder. He was a circus performer. He discovered a French science website called Telegram in 2019. And he also found the bot was the Phantom Project. Its purpose was to allow people to change their predetermined destiny using their own imagination, and the app would take them somewhere they've never been to before. So when the pandemic happened with quarantine, people got bored, so they wanted to play on the app Randonautica. It would take them to abandoned houses, crashed buses, graveyards, and even some people who put things like happiness or something not scary, they would still find something scary or creepy along like the journey.
For so many creepy videos I've seen.
Some do put in like stuff like death.
Yeah.
And like skeletons and stuff like that. But a lot of people have uploaded videos on YouTube and TikTok showing their experiences. And it was so popular on TikTok where the average views on the hashtag being 176 million people.
Wow.
Like watching it and stuff, like the views, which ultimately caused for the app to blow up with popularity. Ironically enough, Randonautica did not do any advertising. So all the advertising that they did receive was just all through social media, and it was all free advertising of people just sharing things. So it was almost like that, like free ads for them at this point.
Yeah.
So that's why it blew up so fast, because it got onto TikTok, and it kind of just went off like word of mouth too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also just gonna put this in there. I don't even know if the app's even like available anymore, or if you can still use it or not.
I don't either.
But I don't suggest or recommend using the app, because a lot of people have come across like scary things, and there's theories out there that could be like linked to the dark web and stuff. So like I do not recommend using it. But if you do decide to use it, if it's still out there and available, just be careful.
Yeah.
Please don't
get out of your car.
Yeah, just be careful. Again, we're not recommending it.
Yeah.
But and the only reason I even explained it was just so you knew what it was.
Yeah.
So
10 out of 10, do not recommend.
Yeah. And you'll find out why I do not recommend it. But on June 19th of 2020 in Seattle, Washington, a TikTok user was using this app, like a group of people, like a person that posted it on TikTok plus other people, stumbled across a crime scene, and the TikTok user decided to post the video. Randonautica app brought them to the coordinates of 47.59535 north and 122.38738 west. So that was in Seattle, Washington on Alki Beach. So they decided to post the video before police arrived, but the video wasn't taken down for a while, and you could still find it even though it was taken down. but it is still somehow circulating because once you post something like this on the internet, people will just stitch it and like save it and share it. But I am going to say the family does not want this video out there. So please don't try to look for it.
Yeah.
Just don't. Because I'll explain to you what the video is. You don't need to find it. There's no reason to. So don't let it keep circulating. Just let it stop because it's not, the family doesn't want it around. So just a little PSA for that. But before the police arrived, they uploaded the video before they could tell them and ask them not to. But they also uploaded it because they thought it was a prank and wasn't real. But it was real. And the user also uploaded it with hashtags FYP for your page, hashtag Washington, hashtag Seattle, and so many other hashtags. And it was uploaded and treated like any other TikTok video of like an everyday video. The video was of a suitcase that was on and in between rocks on the shoreline of Alki Beach. It had a smell when they got close to it, and one of them did start to unzip it, which don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Yeah, if it smells, I'm sorry, but as a true crimey, I already know what it is. So I'm like calling cops and getting the heck out of there.
Yeah, because like a decomposing body does not smell like regular garbage.
Yeah, no.
So you know what that smell is as soon as, like, even if I've never been around a dead body like that.
No, me either.
But like, even if you were to smell it, like I've heard that it's the worst smell that you could ever imagine or smell. So like, you should know.
Yeah.
At this point, that it's not a prank.
Don't unzip it.
Yeah.
Please. Except
for they didn't unzip it, and when they did, the smell got worse and more foul. So they called the police once the video was uploaded. It became so popular, a lot of people thought it was fake and staged. He even posted a video showing receipts with like screenshots and proof, but the people still believed it was fake and that he was lying and that they put it there. Some people honestly believe that they filled it with rotten meat.
Why?
I don't know. People don't like to believe things sometimes. I mean, honestly, I do that too. Like, I'll come across the video, I'm like, oh, this is so staged.
Yeah, I know. So.
Like, you can tell. And, like, I didn't actually watch this video, but I saw, like, clips and stuff of it. Like, you should know it's not staged.
Yeah.
However, in the suitcase, it was stuffed with something in garbage bags. And you can see in the video, you can see it in the video that it was not staged because why would they go through all of it? Okay, putting rotten meat into a garbage bag.
Exactly, yeah.
Into the suitcase. Like, why? There's no point.
They wouldn't.
Exactly. And if you do, then you're messed up.
Yeah. And probably have some other problems that you need to get worked on. Get worked out.
But it also took the police 3 hours to arrive on scene.
3 hours.
And I'll tell you why in a little bit here, and you'll see why. But right now, like, that's crazy. 3 hours.
Yeah.
But you'll see why. Well, and I put in my notes, which to me is insane, but I already kind of said that. So that's a lot of time, and they did receive backlash for that. And since it took them that long, the tide was starting to rise, and it actually took the suitcase into the water at this point. And keep in mind, they unzipped it. So all the contents in the suitcase got out of the suitcase. So it was floating between the rocks and the water, and it took police longer to find it due to this, and the police started to tell the group of TikTokers that they were lying to them and that they were pranking the police. They showed the police the videos for proof while this was happening. In Seattle, the Capitol Hill protests were going on because of the George Floyd murder. So that's why it took the police 3 hours to arrive, because they were handling the protests and stuff.
Yeah.
So they thought that this was just another prank because they're like, oh, they're just trying to get our attention. So that's why they didn't believe them at first, because they're like, there's protests going on. And sometimes when there's protests going on, people will make up stuff and the police can like go to them so they can like do a distraction. So I can understand that now, like why there was a lot going on in the area. So it took them forever to get there. It was making the police super busy, and the police thought that they were playing a prank, but because of the protests and everything, but the police did continue to search the beach because of the TikTok video that they did show them. So they're like, okay, there has to be something here. And because the kids did seem really uncomfortable and felt like something was off, when the police got around to the east side, they spotted the suitcase, but since the TikTokers unzipped the suitcase, the bag got out and was floating further into the water. So they got to the suitcase, but now the actual bag that was inside the suitcase is further out. God. So because of that, they kept searching the beach, but they had to call the harbor unit to get the bag because it was kept going further and further into the water. And while they waited for them to show is when they kept searching the beach. And in doing so, they found a large duffel bag, which was 150 feet from where the suitcase was originally found. And it was a smaller white bag was also in the water as well. So like, oh, smaller white garbage bag was inside the duffel bag and it got out too. The harbor unit did retrieve all the bags, the suitcase, the black garbage bag, the duffel bag, and the small white bag. As they were searching the bags, they found that the bags actually had 2 separate bodies in them, one a male and one a female. So there were bodies. On June 22nd, an autopsy was performed, and they discovered that the bodies were 27-year-old Austin Wenner and 35-year-old Jessica Lewis. They were a couple, and so they were together for about 7 or 8 years up until this point. That same day, even more of their remains were found near the Seattle City Light substation near the Duwamish River. So Jessica was described as a caring person. She worked with disabled adults and worked 2 jobs. She worked at a nursing home and assisted living facility. She was born in Maple Valley. Jessica was also described as a ray of sunshine, a very loving, attentive person, and a hard worker. Austin grew up in Kent, Washington, and went to White River High School. Not much is known of his job. He was someone who was described to have faith, a big heart, loved the outdoors, country music, trucks, campfires, dogs. He loved Jessica and his family. They met in 2012, dating for about 8 years. They were just good-hearted people all around. I kind of like kept researching after I was done researching, and I kept adding stuff. So I apologize. But the autopsy shown that Jessica and Austin had been beaten very severely before being murdered. Jessica was shot. Okay, so in one source, it says that Austin was shot 7 times and then Jessica was shot 1 time. But in the first source that I read, it said that Jessica was shot 7 times and Austin was shot 1 time. So I'm not sure about that because many different like sources said different things. So just one of them was shot 7 times and one of them was shot 1 time. But I think Jessica was shot 7 times and Austin was shot 1 time, and I'll tell you why later because of it, but at the same time, I'm not sure. They were also able to determine that their time of death was on June 9th, which was 10 days before they were found. They found this from their phones stopped receiving and sending out text messages and signals because the phones were turned off on this date. The investigators discovered they were murdered inside due to their bodies had no insects on them. The bodies had feathers on them, though, which made it really confusing for police, and I'll explain why later they had feathers on them. It makes sense later. But they had, like, chicken feathers on them. Jessica also had grass in her mouth. The investigators notified their families and got them into questioning quickly to try to find out what happened. Jessica's family told police Jessica was referred to as Jessie, and asked Austin. I was trying to read that and something else later. So I'm sorry. Austin was referred to or called Cash and Cash Money. Which is cool. Like, it's just funny. I want a nickname like that. They always had been together throughout the duration of their relationship. They had ups and downs, but could always count on each other, which sounds like a normal relationship to me. Like, you're always going to go through things together and you're always going to want to try to stick with your person. So that, I don't know why that was even like a, but I guess it just shows like how strong they were at the time. Jessica had 4 kids. Their ages are unknown and so are their names. So I didn't want to try to reach more into that because their kids leave them out of the publicity. And Austin had a kid in 2014, a year before him and Jessica actually like got together. Not much is known about him, and it isn't clear if he had any relationship with his son or not. So I also didn't want to dig further into that because a child. December 2019, they started renting out a small room from a man named Michael Lee Dudley, which was in Berrien, Washington, which is a bit south of Seattle and located off Puget Sound. Berrien is about 25 to 30 minutes from where the bodies were found. The bodies were found again on Alki Beach. Through police interviews, their families had said several times that Jessica and Austin felt unsafe. And this is where, like, I think this stuff has been confirmed. But I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
but I'm just saying this because this was in multiple resources that I found. So
Mhm.
just letting you know, I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed or if it's just like, but it does come from like family members. So
Yeah.
just take that as you want. And that Austin was involved in gang activity and had potentially crossed a Samoan gang. They were afraid for their lives before the murders. Austin and Jessica were doing yard work for Austin's mom in exchange for money because they were low on money. Austin stressed to his family they needed to receive money ASAP. He said that the Samoans came to their house and beat them up and said that they wanted money. Austin's cousin also stated that Austin was getting involved in more activity like credit card scams, COVID relief check scams. He told his father beginning of June of 2020 that the Samoans attacked him and Jessica and that they really needed money, and told his dad about a week before the murder. At the time, Austin's family felt that he was getting into a lot bigger crime and that maybe he crossed the wrong person. He may have been he may have been in over his head at the time. Austin and Jessica had planned to spend more time with Austin's dad the week after this. When Austin's dad tried to call or text his phone, Austin wasn't answering. However, this was pretty normal, so they weren't necessarily concerned at the time, due to Austin's phone didn't really work the majority of the time. So whenever that would happen, they would just call Jessica. But they called Jessica, however, she didn't answer too. So this time they were starting to get worried because they're like, okay, she's not answering now.
Yeah.
There has to be something. So he went to the room that they were renting out on Amway Boulevard in Burien. When he got there, he ended up talking to the landlord, Michael Lee Dudley, asked if he saw Austin or Jessica. The landlord, Michael, claimed that he didn't have a clue where they went. They left all of their stuff there, and he also was complaining to Austin's dad about it, and Austin's dad left. However, before leaving, he noticed Austin's clothes were in a garbage can, which was concerning, and immediately it alerted him because he was like, wait, those are my son's clothes.
Yeah.
And he was like, also, they were low on money, so why would they just up and leave?
Mhm.
It was also very odd that Jessica and Austin would leave because, like, they didn't have any money, but also without any of their stuff. Why would they just leave without their stuff?
Yeah.
But the landlord, Michael, made it seem like they just left and that they weren't in trouble. They just were poof, gone, which immediately kind of made Dudley suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Since he told his family about the Samoans, it was kind of believed at this point that it was gang activity. He also mentioned to his family the day that they came to beat them up that they carved his name in a bullet and left it in their mailbox.
Well, that's disturbing.
Yeah. So the police were assuming it was gang-related crime. However, the police received interesting information from a witness. A man whose ex-wife and child lived there. He didn't live there, but he was there a lot of the time. Ex-wife told him that she heard gunshots and screaming.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good.
No. The man called the police to let them know and asked them to check on the house. He did see Jessica and Austin around the area, and he thought that maybe there was a connection. Police started investigating the other neighbors and started questioning them, and it turns out that night several neighbors did call the police reporting the gunshots and screams. But no one answered the door, so the police just left.
Oh my god. Good police work. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. But many neighbors said the same thing, gunshots and screaming, and one neighbor heard a man say, "Please don't do this." A lot of commotion. Other tenants gave statements about Dudley and were talking about weird experiences they have had with him. The main testimony is from a person named this is actually on the court documents. It just says witness D. It does not say their name. So I'm just going to refer to them as witness D or she. So, no. According to the court docs, she was going to move into a room. She met Michael through a friend and planned on renting a room. She actually came to the house the day of the murders because she was going to move in that morning, June 20th. But when she got there, Michael's glasses were all broken, his face had scratches on it, and he just looked discombobulated and disheveled and all messed up. She started to settle into the room and got a shower. So before I explain this, literally, this guy would just rent just this room in his house to these people.
Mm-hmm.
They lived in the same house, they used the same bathroom, but they had one room to themselves. That makes sense. And it's also a crime because he charges them $1,500 a month just for one room.
Oh my god.
It's more than my house payment.
Wow.
I have a house. That's like double my house payment. Not even. It's like a little bit over double my house payment.
That's not a scam at all.
So I was confused when I first read this because like she got a shower, but then she didn't see the stuff till after she showered, and it makes sense because she used the same shower, but then went into the room after
Mm-hmm.
she showered. So she didn't see the room before she put her stuff in there because her stuff was just by the door.
Mm-hmm.
She took her stuff out after her shower and then put everything into the room and then saw all this stuff. So I just didn't want you to get confused because I was confused when I first was researching this, and then I learned more as I was going on. So then she got a shower. Then she started putting her things away at this point. She really hadn't looked around the room that much and was now doing so. When she got into the room, she saw what looked like a dead body just laying in the room under a bunch of clothes. She saw a hand with blood on it outside the big pile of clothes. Leave.
Yeah.
Red flag.
Run.
But she doesn't.
Why?
And she also saw a bloody handprint by the door. She also saw that there were bullet holes in the nightstand and on the bed frame. And when she turned the TV on to Hulu, and she was looking at it, it came to a device. It was on a Roku device, and it said it was registered to Austin Wenner.
I'm sorry, but there's some dead bodies. It's alright. Let me just watch some Hulu.
There's a dead body. There's a bloody handprint. There's bullet holes. Let me just watch some TV.
What is wrong with you?
So she had never met Austin or Jessica before this, so she thought it just came with the place and didn't think too much about it. She asked Michael what was going on with her room, and in a joking manner, she asked that. And Michael gave her the keys to his truck and wanted her to leave and told her to go somewhere for a few hours so he can clean up the room. So she just goes up to be like, so what's going on in my room? Haha, there's a dead body.
Okay, then. No big deal.
Yeah.
I'm shook.
Yeah. It's even worse. So just bear with me here. Before she left, she did see large sheets of plastic that was laid down on the floor in the basement, and she finally asked what happened to the tenants before her and what was going on, because she was confused. Michael told her that the tenants were there, rented out the room for $1,500 a month, and that they had not paid him for months and refused to leave. And also said that they were stealing from him and locked him out of his house. And she asked him what happened to them, and he said, let's put it this way. My gun misfired, and his didn't.
God.
I put, what? So you're just gonna stay after this?
Yeah.
There was another witness who is referred to as Witness E. She didn't live there, but she used the home as a storage place for some items and would lock the door so no one could get to the stuff she would come and go and didn't really live there, but stayed every once in a while. She would stay there, but she claimed that she didn't live there. She came to the home the day after the murders and saw Michael had big garbage bags in the back of his truck, and she said she immediately knew something was not right. She could smell something so foul, and it wasn't a normal garbage smell. She didn't know what was up, but she knew something was off. She also was aware that Michael asked Austin and Jessica to leave on multiple occasions and that they wouldn't leave. Allegedly, Austin had stolen a vehicle from the Samoans and kept it at the home, which caused a lot of conflict. Witness E asked Michael what was up with Austin and Jessica, if they were there or not, and asked if she needed to lock the door, and Michael said, you don't need to worry about them anymore.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Police conducted a search on August 19th, 2020 of Michael's home and in Austin and Jessica's room. They found blood in the room and found bullet holes and noticed the room was freshly cleaned and painted. And when they asked about it, Michael said he got a new tenant and said Jessica accidentally cut herself in the room, so he decided to clean it and paint it. When the police searched Michael's truck, they found an unregistered gun, and he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. However, they thought that there was more than one person involved in the crime, or at least multiple people, because they were dismembered and the bodies were dismembered in different ways, like with different tools. And so they thought more than one person at least committed the murders and dismembered them, because like the cuts of like everything, like nothing matched to like one person being the person who did it. They thought this since the autopsies were done, because there were multiple different types of cuts and multiple different weapons used. Michael's past is very sketchy. In the 90s, he was convicted of several crimes. In 1994, in California, he was convicted of carrying a concealed weapon in a car. In 1995, he was convicted of taking a car for temporary use. In 1996, he stole a car out of Vuska with a Vuska drug charge in Washington, a charge for controlled substances. 1997, he received a DUI in Oregon. At the time, Michael was in his 60s. On August 2nd, 2020, police arrested 3 unknown people because they cut a lock off the gate of Michael's property and they were trying to tow a vehicle. So that could show that maybe Austin did steal a vehicle, but it's not confirmed if he did or not. So I don't want to like say that he did.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's possible. Michael was actually renting out the room as an Airbnb, so that's why he was able to charge $1,500 a month. Because it was $100 a night, which explains why, but $1,500 for a room to me is insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's more than my house.
Mm-hmm.
And it also explains why people came and go so often and why they stayed for long periods of time and why they didn't stay for long periods of time. There were also chickens on the property and doors would stay open during the day. So this is where the feathers came from. The chickens would just walk in the house. So, yeah. Yeah. Seattle also isn't known for gang activity and it was more towards the Berrien area. So it was very weird for the bodies to show up in Seattle. However, Jessica told her family that Austin and her were scared of Michael and that he was scary, creepy, intimidating, and weird. This is where the animal violence comes in. So trigger warning, if you want to skip like 30 seconds, go ahead. Or maybe even 15 seconds. So allegedly, Michael beat a dog to death in the front yard, which was right in front of Austin and Jessica, which was made to make them afraid and to intimidate them. And it did make them afraid. It actually made them so afraid that they were afraid to leave the house. They would just stay inside and lock the door and stay inside all day because they were too afraid of Michael at this point. He also broke things off their car, and allegedly he would put GPS trackers on their car. And he also did this to other people as well. There were times where Jessica and Austin wouldn't leave for days. They would just lock the door and just stay in for days. Others who had stayed there for a long period of times have said that Michael did threaten them. He would scream at them to leave, and he would end up locking the door too so they couldn't leave. He would damage their cars, the GPS trackers, and even more things that people have not came forward with yet. Or at least it's not open to the public. Jessica and Austin had nowhere else to go, so they just stayed because they felt stuck. And again, this happened during COVID, so it was really hard for them to bring up the money and find other places to live. Then, 2 years before the murders, Michael's daughter tried to get a restraining order against him in 2018. Trigger warning, this is where the sexual assault comes in. So if you want to skip like 15 to 30 seconds, go ahead. He sexually assaulted her for 9 years, from the ages of 10 to 18. He would also force her, watching him do things to himself, and while he watched adult videos. He would also drug her as well. They denied her the restraining order because the allegations fell under domestic violence and not sexual assault.
Wow.
How? How does it fall under domestic violence and not sexual assault?
That doesn't even
make it make sense to me.
Yeah.
In 2016, Michael was arrested and charged with assault after beating his ex-girlfriend. He would beat her, assault her, and then he also pointed a gun at her.
What a good person. Gold star.
I hate this guy.
Me too.
So, Michael was 63 at the time of the murders. He also told others his desires to kill his neighbors and others. Red flag.
Lock this guy in a cage. Like, pull a cop, something.
Yeah, like you could have stopped this before it happened. It turns out that at 7:01 p.m., I think it was 7:01 p.m., but I'm not sure because the girl that moved into the room moved in the morning, and it said later, and it said she moved in an hour after the murders happened. So I'm not sure if it was 7:01 at night or 7:01 in the morning. Mm-hmm. But at 7:01, Jessica and Austin's phones shown a phone call that was to Michael. This was right before their phones were turned off as well. Witness D, that I spoke about earlier, came 1 hour after the murders happened. So on August 19th, 2020, search warrant on Michael's home was conducted along with his arrest. He apparently had good standing with the other neighbors, and people at first didn't believe it was him. His lawyer even got 11 letters from people attesting to his good character. Oh yeah, he's such a good guy.
Yeah. What is wrong with everybody?
Yeah. The letters stated that he had taken people in during their time of need, helped people when no one else did, flew to California to help with wildfires in small communities. However, as we know, evidence contradicted all these people's claims. Because the evidence was strong that the evidence was so strong though, so these letters didn't do anything and he was denied bond. Good. While the officers were building their case and investigators were trying to search more into the case, they found, I don't even know where that was. Oh, he was denied bond while they were still investigating is what I meant. After he got arrested. When he was interviewed at his arrest, he did admit that Austin and Jessica stayed there and it was the same room that was recently cleaned and painted. He said that they hadn't paid him rent yet and it led to arguments between them. But nothing else happened, and that when asked about the blood, he said Jessica cut herself and couldn't explain the bullet holes or casings. So he was kept in custody because he couldn't explain those things. He was just like, I don't know why they're there.
I have no idea how those got there.
Yeah. The other details weren't released until trial. The trial was rescheduled 3 times for unknown reasons, but the trial finally happened in October 2022. Michael's family tried to sell the house only 4 months after the murders.
Wow.
Without telling people about the murders that occurred there.
Oh my god, of course.
At the trial, the witness I mentioned before testified with all the information mentioned before. The one thing I forgot to mention, though, whenever the police did search the house, was they found putty was filled in with the bullet holes. So they could tell that the bullet holes were filled in and repainted over. And they actually found that same putty container in Michael's room.
Well, would you look at that?
He was trying to cover it up.
Yeah. Not very well.
Cell phone records also showed that Michael's phone pinged off a tower near Alki Beach late on June 18th, 2020. And they took 3 months of data from his phone, and it was the only time it pinged there. So it wasn't someplace he always went to or always visited. So that one and only time that he went there was right before the suitcase was found. And it was, so it wasn't, So Michael's defense team said that the data was unreliable and that it was picked by the prosecution and claimed that it was impossible to base someone's location on a phone ping and that the house searched by blood experts didn't bring up any compelling evidence other than a smudge of Austin's blood that was found. They noted no blood was found in Michael's car and that the firearms experts said the bullet holes in the room didn't go through a body. However, the prosecution stayed with the same strong case and story, and with it being paired with his background, cell phone data from all 3 of them, Michael, Jessica, and Austin, the witnesses and the testimonies, and his own answers in his interrogation, they found that he was guilty. The jury took 1.5 days and came back with a verdict on December 8th, 2022 with a verdict of guilty of 2 counts of second-degree murder. The jury was also came back with that he was armed with a gun when he killed them, which automatically adds 10 years to his term. I also forgot to mention the trial took 2 months itself. A long time.
Wow, yeah.
In April of 2023, he was sentenced to 46 years and 8 months in prison.
That's it.
I'll also show you pictures because he looks freaking crazy. People said, "Oh, he looked like a soft teddy bear." I'm like, no, he didn't. I don't know. Are you crazy? You're crazy.
You have eyes?
Yeah. So I don't think I had anything else on my phone. But the whole reason he killed them was because they allegedly weren't paying rent, and allegedly he didn't want them. So he was like, I'm just gonna kill him.
What a nice person.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong?
Why would you do that? And then it was just so ironic and so funny that literally a day after he put the bodies there, the TikTokers had happened to find them. So it was just all by chance, really.
Yeah.
Because the TikTokers were using Randonautica and somehow Randonautica brought them to the bodies literally a day after he put them there.
That's terrifying. How did Randonautica know that was there?
I don't know. That's why people say they think that it's linked to the dark web and that people are putting the locations in there and then it's pulling from that. But I don't know. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that's what I've heard. But it's very crazy that everything just happened like just by chance like that.
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah, because like how did it know?
I never like actually knew about that whole case.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you did, because I thought you said that you remember, like I thought you mentioned it before.
Well, I knew about the suitcase thing, but I never
Mhm.
like knew about like everything that went into it.
Yeah, so this is Michael. To me, he looks creepy.
Hmm.
And this was Austin and Jessica. Yeah. So yeah, it's just crazy, because whenever I was like, okay, let me just look into this, I didn't really expect to find as much information as I did.
Yeah.
And I also didn't expect for it to be so detailed like that. And again, like, it's just crazy that everything happened by chance.
Mm-hmm.
That he put the bodies there, and then the TikTokers found it, and then they called the police, and then the police came, and they were able to find everything.
Yeah.
But they still believe that somebody else was in on it,
Mm-hmm.
but only Michael got charged. Because some theories were that Michael got the gang members that Austin, quote unquote, double crossed, and that they helped him.
Yeah.
Which is why, which I didn't say this, but which is why I think that Jessica was shot 7 times, because they were trying to torture Austin. But it's just all speculation. It's not like true. So I'm not saying, oh, that's actually true. I'm just saying, like, that's my opinion, maybe, of possibly if they do really think that somebody else was involved.
Yeah.
But I also kind of can just see just Michael just being involved, because they were like having a hard time saying a 63-year-old man committed the murders, which I can see, but I also can't see because he was a bigger guy and he had a gun, so maybe they were afraid, you know. So maybe he was able to shoot them and then he dismembered their bodies. Don't know.
Yeah.
But awful. It's sad.
It is.
And again, Jessica and Austin's family do not want that video out there, so please stop circulating it.
Yeah.
And I am so sorry for their families, because that's awful to lose your family members like that, and I am so sorry. And besides the, like, I could care less about the gang activity that Austin was quote unquote involved in, he still did not deserve what happened to him. And he still seemed like a good person, and maybe they were just struggling for money. And they got stuck in something that they don't mean to be stuck in.
He definitely looks like a creep. Definitely doesn't look like someone who would shove 2 people on a suit.
Oh, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah. He does look like a creep. Like, he looks like a pedo.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
he does look like a
that I
pedo
get
to
from
me,
him.
but like also like he doesn't look like somebody that would kill somebody.
Yeah.
So that, which is, I can understand in a way that people would be like, oh, he probably wouldn't do it, but he does.
He definitely did.
He definitely did.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that is the suitcase / TikTok murders. Randonautica / yeah. Scary. Again, my hearts go out to the families, the victims' families. Not Michael's.
Not Michael.
So yeah, so if you want to see pictures of Jessica and Austin, and you want to see the awful picture of the awful monster Michael, you can go to our social medias, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Dreadfully Twisted Podcast. You can share your stories or your paranormal stories, true crime, whatever, or ideas of cases that you want us to cover, or paranormal stuff you want us to cover. You can send that to us at our Gmail at dreadfullytwistedpodcast@gmail.com, or you can comment on our Reddit page, our /dreadfullytwistedpod.
Send us.
Yeah, send us
rate
stuff.
Us 5 stars.
Yeah. So I also forgot with Spotify. You can rate us 5 stars, please. 5 stars. Rate us 5 stars on Spotify. I also forgot to mention, please download the episodes on Spotify. That counts as like a like for us, like that you're liking the episode. So if you download it, it would help us greatly with every episode that we do put out there. That way we can get out in the charts, stay relevant in Spotify. It helps us with our Spotify ratings and everything. So if you could please do that. Also share the podcast to your family and friends. You can listen on Spotify, Pandora Radio, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, and YouTube. Right now, we currently are not on Apple Podcasts because it is like $20 a month for us to upload on there. And right now, we just financially can't afford it. So I'm sorry that we're not on there. We've had a couple of people ask. If we do start merch, then maybe we'll be able to be on there. But right now, we just can't afford it because it's just a lot. So I'm sorry. But you can listen on the other platforms still. It's free on the other platforms for us, like for you to listen to. So if you want to just download Spotify or just watch it on YouTube, you can do that. But right now we are not on Apple. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm just sorry, but yeah. And then, yeah, subscribe, follow, like, download, share with your family, friends, help us stay relevant in the charts.
Yes.
And if you want to see the paranormal stuff that's been happening in my house, go to our TikTok. I will share it probably on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. So go there if you want to see the videos because they are kind of crazy.
Yeah. Do it.
Maybe I'll make a compilation of all of them, or maybe I'll just upload because I know people don't really have like me. I don't have an attention span to watch all of them.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just upload them little by little, so you'll see them on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will see you guys next week. Stay positive. Look out for your friends.
Be a good person.
Don't be like Michael.
Yes, or any other people that we cover on these podcasts.
Yeah.
Episodes.
Just be a good person. It doesn't cost anything.
Yes.
And
$0.
Love you, and we will see you next week.
We love you.
Bye.
Bye.